Hello, this is Steps here. I'm part of the Shallon's Den of 6510 Discord group. It was a community started by a guy called Shallon, who's down here somewhere. Where is he? Here he is. Who's a C64 coder who's made some games. He uses a certain set of tools which are really, he's got a really nice setup, and so most of us are set up like him. What I'm going to do now is try and show how to set up from scratch to get set up so you can get started and doing some coding. You can join this group, and there's help available. This is a channel where you can get help in this chat here. There's all sorts of different chatting you can do here. So I'm using Windows. You can do all this stuff on Mac or Linux. I don't actually use those operating systems myself though, so you'll if you're using one of those, you'll have to join this group, and someone else here should be able to help. It might be quite similar to setup to what we're going to do now on the Windows setup anyway. So I think Shallon's got a Twitch channel, which is Twitch TV Shallon 50k. He streams quite regularly, at least once a week, maybe twice a week. You can watch all his old videos too. I think they're here. Where are they? Oops. Videos. Yes, you can watch his old ones. Shallon's also got, if I can find it, Patreon. If you join this, you only have to, if you don't have much money, you can just do a couple of dollars a month. You don't have to pay much. And you get access to a set of PDF files, which is a tutorial for making a game. So that's an option if you want to do that. So, and he's on Twitter. Right, so I think we'll just try and get started. So, from our Windows desktop now. So first things first, we have to install Java. You can install the Java. If you've got Java installed already, make sure your version is fairly recent. I don't think an old version will work. So you can install the Java runtime development, they call it, or the actual full Java. I think the difference is with the full Java, you can develop Java applications and stuff, but with the runtime environment, you just run Java programs. But you can install either of those, because if you've installed the SDK, the full kit, it comes with the runtime anyway. So let's start with that. So install Java. Oops. Java. What's that? Oh, Jesus. Sorry. Download Java. It's a good start, isn't it? What's this? I guess I'll just download this version 8241. Let's go with it's a 64-bit one. You can install both. Oh, what the hell's going on here? If you use 32-bit and 64-bit browsers. Christ. I'll go with this one. So keep. I'm running Windows 7 64-bit here. Okay. So all. Obviously you could fast forward this video, but if you don't want to watch this Java, all this is on Java if you've got it already or whatever. So that's that. You can check your Java version, if I remember, in, let's see, Java about. And there's the version I've just installed. So next up, let's do, what should we do next? Let's do Sublime. Let's try Sublime Text 3 now. That's a text editor, okay, which is used for editing, making the C64 programs, the code. Right, so Sublime Text 3, I'll just put Sublime Text. So Sublime Text 3 on build 3211 at the moment. This is free, but you get a nag screen saying register. I don't know what it says, it's just a reminder or something to register. You don't have to register if you don't want to. You just get a nag window. Right, so download. Keep. Close this. Next. I had an old install, but I'll go over it. Next. Install. I'll just check that actually. I've just installed Sublime, so let's see. Where is it? Did I miss it? Here. Unregistered, let's see. Yeah, this looks like a new install as far as I can see. So next up, I'm going to download. Next up, we're going to download C64 Vice, but I'll show you something first. With the latest versions of Vice, where are they? So the like newer versions like 3.4. If I load it, where's the other one? That's odd, I must have deleted it. Anyway, now on the newer versions, if I go to the monitor, you just get this. Now if you watch Alan's videos, he gets a different type of monitor, and this is just, I don't know what this is, there's just some things going on here. So I actually don't use a newer version of Vice. What I do, if you go back to say, let's exit. So that was 3.4. If you go back to 3.2, for example. By the way, while I'm here, I'll just mention, when you, with the C64 emulator, you get X64, but you also get X64 SC. I found out that the SC is a bit more accurate regarding the VIC and the graphics. It's just slightly more accurate, but it's a bit, apparently it runs a little bit slower too, but with modern computers, it's really fast anyway. So you might want to use this one. You can use this one if you want though. We'll worry about that. We won't worry about that now anyway. You can use either for now. So with these older versions, monitor, this is the older type, you can get you can see the registers like the accumulator and X and Y and things. What else can you see? Memory. What's this one? Disassembly. And when Shannon does his videos and he uses his font monitor, this is how these are all the windows you see. So I actually use an older, I don't use a newer version of Vice, so just keep that in mind. You might want to do the same and just use an older version. I think a lot of people do use the older version, like 3.1 or 3.2. So now I've said that, let's download. If we were downloading Vice, I'll show you what we do. So C64 Vice. Let's try this one. Yeah, so when we're here, if you go down a little, you could download 3.4 like I said, but if you go down a bit, there's some older versions here, so just click on the download page. And since it's this GTK thing, since they started this GTK 3.3 and forwards, the monitor's just gone, it's all changed. So you might want to go for 3.1 or 3.2. I've just noticed 3.2 there's a 32-bit version, but 3.1 has actually got a 64-bit version, so I think I'll just stick with the 64-bit version. But you can get this one, or you could build your own 64-bit version if you know how to do that. The source is available. So I'll just go with 3.1, okay? So 64-bit. This one. That's downloading. Now we'll download Kick Assembler. So let me, yes, Kick Assembler. Okay, now here it is. There is a manual. You can print out a PDF. It's good to read through it, and there's a lot of features and different things you can learn. There's also a HTML manual online, so you can just check. It just explains some things, but anyway, there's a manual there. So I'm going to download. Oh, they're saying to download Java. They know you need it. Anyway, you don't need version 11. I think I just installed 8 on mine, didn't I? It's fine. So, right, so download Kick Assembler. So we've got Kick Assembler there, and we need something called C64 Debugger. So let's go and get that C64 Debugger, which is, let's go to this one. The latest one should just be there, so let's just download it. 06458 Win32. That's I think we've got everything we need. I'll just check my list here, 1 second. Yeah, we'll just go with that at a moment, so I'll close this. So here's a download, C64 Debugger, there's Java which I've installed, Kick Assembler, Sublime Text which I've installed, and WinVice 3.1. Now next up you need to do this, go to your C drive. In the C drive make a folder called C64. In the C64 folder, oh Christ, what is it? Tools, I think. Yeah, make a folder, tools. Now in here we're going to put, let me think, folder, Kick Assembler, and also Vice. I think that's right. Should be right. We'll see how we go as we go along anyway. Okay, so I'm going to go to my downloads again. Send that. The kick assembler's all going in there. The kick assembler folder. Vice. Oh. I'll put the files, rather than put that folder in there, I'll put all those files in straight into the Tools Vice folder. Okay, so select them all. So if you remember what I mentioned before, there was an X64 and a SC, you can just load one of those ones. Now in the, let me think, in this Vice folder, I think we need, yeah, we need the C64 debugger, what I downloaded, so let's find that. Looks like there's a manual there, isn't there? That's another useful thing to print out, this manual, if you want to, there's a lot to this debugger and all sorts of shortcuts and stuff. So anyway, there's a manual there. But, right, so I'll take the manual across too. Oops. Watch out, don't copy that 65ED one, copy the C64 debugger, okay? And so here we go, put it into the, put it in the bloody. Okay, so that's in the Vice folder where you've got the, you know, the executables, the Vice executable. So that's that. Right, next up, yeah, okay, with Sublime Text, where is it? I'll put a shortcut to my desktop off for it. So before we can do anything else, we have to install something in Sublime Text called package control. So to do that, yeah, it's quite easy as far as you can see. All you do is you just go to Tools and just go down to there, install package control, okay? Let's try that. Yeah, package control was successfully installed. Okay, I'm back now. I just took a break. So we got the package control installed in Sublime here. So now what we need to do now is we need to add the kick assembler Sublime package. So what we're going to do, package control, click on install package, and you can type C64, you'll see it come up, kick assembler C64. Just click on this and you'll see it start to install down in this bottom left corner. So just click on it. It's installing. That's finished. And now in package settings, we've got Sublime in there and there's like preferences we can use. So before I do anything else, I just want to show you something in Vice which I forgot to show you. So go to C64 Tools Vice, load up Vice. And before we do this change I'm going to show you, go down to the bottom and put save settings on exit. Okay, we won't remember what we're doing. So save settings on exit, then go to auto start settings. where it says PRG auto start mode, change this to injector RAM and put OK. And then when we exit, it'll actually save it, and it'll always remember that now. The reason we have to do that is if we don't do that, we can have some problems with the programs we write. Have some problems with them loading, or they might not work. They might not work as we wanted them to. So someone explained it to me. I've got it here. It said, we do this to ensure that this code loads in device correctly. It's important to set the auto start PRG setting device to inject a RAM. This will preload the RAM on startup and save us needing to bank out things to actually load the data there. So if you don't know what that means, don't worry about it. We just need to do that change I've just shown you in order to make sure the programs work properly, okay? So just to change that setting like I've just shown you in Vice. So next up, we need to change something in Sublime. In the Sublime Kick Assembler preferences. This is a bit funny at first if you're not used to it, the way you can make changes to the preferences. They won't let you edit these default settings on the left here. I can't type anything in here. So you have to copy this across to this side of user settings, and you can change them. So we need to change the KickAss debug path. At the moment it's doing the debugging and the running of the program all through Vice, but we want to do the debugging through that program called C64 Debugger. Okay, so we can also still debug in Vice if we want to, but I'll show you as we go along. Okay, so what I'm going to do is copy this line, all of it. Copy. I'm going to paste it here. That pink thing there means there's a problem. What that is, you can see on every line, oh, even the last one, there's a comma at the end of each one. So at the end of this one, I need to put a comma, and then the pink arrow is gone now because it's saying that's okay now. I don't think we need a comma on the last line, or maybe it doesn't make any difference. Okay, so KickAss debug path, we're going to change to C64 Debugger. And if you remember, in C64 Tools Vice, we've put C64 Debugger exe in there. So it's in the same folder as where our Vice emulator is. Okay, so now we need to save that. You can change I don't know what a lot of this other stuff is, but we'll leave that. So you can just close it. Save changes, yes. By the way, there are various settings in Sublime you can change. You go to Preferences, Settings. So if you wanted to change the font size, as I say, you can't do it in this left side. You need to copy this. For example, if you want to change the font, you'd need a comma at the end of this line. If you're putting it below, and you can paste, and you can probably delete the last comma if you don't want it. It doesn't make any difference, I think. Okay. And when you save that, then you can change it to say 15 or whatever size you want it. Okay. I'm not going to save this. I don't want to make any changes, but I'm just showing you. Save changes, no. So we can do a couple more things now, then we can write a test program to see if this all works. So one thing we can do is put view, sidebar, show open files. So you can see any files you've got open. It's nice to have that open. Something else we need to do, which is important, is go to Tools, C64, C64 Tools, Kick Assembler, and where you've got this config file here, KickAss config, open it. We need to add a line in here. So in here we put debug dump. This is important. I'll show you later why we had to do it. Something won't work if we don't do that. It's important. Okay, so save that. So now we'll write a little test program now. Okay, so basic main load A1 store. Now at the moment we haven't saved this file. There's no colouring method like for the opcodes, and it's just obviously it's all in white text. So what we do when we save it as a .asm file, let's do that now. You can do file save as, or you can put Control and S. So let's Control and S now, and we'll go to. You can make your own folder where you want everything saved. So let's just go. Programs. See. So I'll call it example 1. Now the .asm extension here I've put is really important, because once we put that in and save, so you're starting to put the colour in, highlight it now. So the opcodes are in red, as you can see. By the way, we can't use uppercase. If I try to do STA, look, it doesn't work. Okay, so remember this needs to be in lowercase. Oops. So I'll Control and S again to save this. When the file isn't saved, there's a little circle up here, can you see? So when I Control and S, that's saved now. So all this program is doing is loading 1 into the accumulator and is storing that in the screen. 1 will be the letter A, okay? And then the program just finishes that. So now I can press F7 and hopefully this will just launch and run in device emulator now, okay? So I'm going to press F7. And let's put an A up here, okay? And then just finished. So that's working. Now what we can do next, we can check if the C64 debugger is working now. For that one it's Shift and F7. So let's try that now. So I'll press Shift and F7 now. And that's okay. You can see it's put the A, so one of the programs put the A up here. Now what we're going to do, the reason we put, we can break the program here. So let's put it in here, a breakpoint. By the way, if you haven't saved, when you press F7 or Shift and F7, it'll just save the program and run it anyway. So don't worry if you don't save it. Now, if I press F7, it should break in Vice now. Let's try that. And it has. And then we can look at the you can use a monitor in Vice, okay. So we'll exit. Now the reason we put that debug, I'll show you again, in C64 tools, kick assembler here, debug dump. If we don't do that, we won't be able to do the breakpoint in the C64 debugger. So now I just pressed F7 then to load, to run this in Vice. I'm going to press Shift and F7 now to run this in the C64 debugger, and it should break. Okay, so I'll do Shift and F7. And it has. So you can see there's the start of our program. Nothing's happened on the screen yet. So if I press F10, it steps through. So here's the A register up here. So when I press F10, it should put a 1 into that A register. So I'll press F10 now to step forward 1. So now it's jumped down and there's the 1 in there. And now it's going to store that on 0400, which is this area of the screen here. So an A should appear. So when I press F10 again, so we step through again, and there's the A. And it'll just finish when I do F10 again. So that works. I think we're good to go. Let's check my list here. Java install, kick assembler device, Sublime, debugger's working. Yeah, that's fine. Control Shift F3. I think there's a feature in the newest version of the C64 debugger, what someone said. Let me test it. I'll do the debugger again, so it's Shift and F7 for the debugger. I think you can press Control Shift and F3 here. Let's try it. Control Shift. Oh, that's interesting, yeah. So you can see here, you've got your program here and the assembly here, or the addresses and stuff here on this side. So I think we could probably step through here too. Let's try F10. Yeah, it's interesting. So what we're seeing here is we're seeing our program here and it running on the Commodore 64 side by side. So that's really useful. That's very useful actually. Right, so let's close this. I think it defaults back to the other screen when we go back in. Let's see, does it remember? Yeah, it defaults back to this screen again when you run. It takes some getting used to, unfortunately, this does. There's a lot to it. There's loads of different screens, like, let's see if we can see some of them. Yeah, different views, and there's a lot. You can see the SID music waveforms here. Shannon's videos on Twitch are useful because he uses this a lot. Yeah, it's good to read through the manual and just practice. Some more screens. Okay, I'll close this now anyway. I'm no expert on this myself. So I don't think there's much else to show you. The only other thing I'll show you is when we have a few files in here. So let me try and show you an example. I'll close this. So where's our file? It's in programs. Oh, when you run a program, it makes a binary folder, and here's the actual program which will run on a C64, the C64 program here, which is 1K. So you could just drag this into Vice. Where's Vice? Oops. Let's see. I'll obviously make shortcuts for all this myself later. It's a good idea to. I'll just run Vice. What's it doing there? I'll ignore that. Yeah, so I could just drag this program file and it runs our program, the A, what we did, okay? So it's just executable there. Okay, so where was I? I want to go to C. Copy. I'm just putting this here temporarily so I can rename it to do this again, and then I'm just trying to get a few files going in the folder, so there's enough for one. Right, so open folder. Select folder, and there's our files here on the left. I'll just show you something if you're not used to using all this. When I click on a file, it's in italics there, can you see? Now when I click on another one, it'll just open in the same window, example 2. If you want various files open, you need to get rid of that italics thing. So how you can do that, one way is you can double click. So if I've loaded example 1, if I double click it, the italics is off now. So that means if I click on another file, it'll open next to it. That one's also in italics now. So if I clicked on 3, but if I double click this one, that's open now. And if I click on this one, then you've got another one open. I think another way to get rid of italics is if you edit the file, then it's gone. Italics is gone now. So if I try to open something else, I haven't got any more, but so I can open another file now and it'll open over this side. Okay, so you'll get used to that. It's kind of annoying at first. Oh, another thing to show you, which is useful, if you're looking at other example programs, you'll have to get used to converting certain programs. Yeah, I'll show you some things, an example, C64, 652 code repository. If I just take one of these examples, so sometimes you'll see code, C64 code in a different, it's not really in the kick assembler format, so to speak. So I'll just show you what we can do. I'll just take all of this slots, so copy. So double click here to open a new, start a new file. So if I paste this in, obviously it's all in white at the moment. The first problem we've got is these are all in uppercase, but that won't work. We need these in lowercase for kick assembler. So what you can do is do Control and A, then press Control and K, and then Control and L. I think you have to do it quickly. Hang on. Control. Yeah, you just have to do it quickly. So Control and then press K and L quite quickly after one up, and it makes everything go to lowercase here. Their comments, kick assembler comments look like this. You can't use these here. So if there's lots of them in a program, I'll put that back. You can just obviously do a find and replace. So find, replace. So just find this and replace with this. And I'll put replace all. So they've changed all the comments now. And you'll have other little problems like these here, you need like that, or it won't work in kick assembler. You kind of just learn as you go along. Anything else? I always put those comments, fix those ones too. Obviously when we save the file, Control and S, example 4, when we put the .asm extension in and save, then it puts in the proper color coding. Well, I don't know what this will do. Should we try it? F7. Oh, I've only taken a small part of the program. It's obviously referring to things elsewhere in the program, but that was just to show you how you can make everything, change your case quickly, change your comments format quickly, and remember to put in these. There'll be other things you'll see. You'll see someone might have like byte and then some things going on, but we need, for kick assembly, you need it like that. Anyway, you just learn as you go along. I think that's pretty much everything, and I think everything's working. Obviously, feel free to drop in. If you've got questions or you get stuck on anything, something doesn't work, remember the Discord channel. You know, just come and join the Discord, ask questions. Everyone will help you. There's plenty of help available if you get everyone setting up. Yeah, but hope to see you around then. Oh, there's R now. He's the reason I did this video, because he asked for some help. So I think that's about it. I think I'll sign off now. Hope I've remembered everything. Just, you can come and ask me questions directly if you like. By the way, if you want to if you're not used to Discord, the green dots are people who are online at the moment. They must be asleep, these guys. You can message someone directly by right-clicking message, and we were chatting about this, it looks like. Yes, you can just chat directly to one person. Let's close. Or you can go back to the main channel, and there's sub rooms like coding help. If you're stuck on a particular program, you can ask in here. Yeah, you get used to Discord pretty quick if you've not used it before. Oh, and you can search for stuff too. Right, so I think that's about it. I hope it's been helpful. I'll sign off here then. Cheers, see you later.